What is going on, guys? This is EK1 here and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. In today's video, we're going to be showcasing a Solar 3.0 Titan build. Now, we did do a version of this build pre-Solar 3.0, but now Solar 3.0 is out and we know what aspects are there and fragments are there. We had to renew it. I mean, it's got even stronger. It's absolutely incredible. This build is going to be good for damage output. It's going to be good for staying alive. You pretty much should not die using this build at all. So it's basically an absolute beast of a build for anything end game. Now, we've tried this in Master Nightfall, Legend Lost Sector, and Master Lost Sector. And, well, we didn't die once. So, definitely go ahead, put this build together. If you do enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe button, because that really does help the channel. We are getting so many subs recently, and I really do appreciate every single one of you. And you can also show thanks on the channel now, or become a member. If you want to become a member, you get exclusive perks, and we'll probably at some stage release some member-only builds. So, with all that out of the way, let's get into today's video. So to start with, what we're going to be running is Solar Titan Hammer of Soul. Now, this is absolutely incredible. It's still good now. So you summon a flaming hammer and wreak destruction down upon your enemies, and then you press to throw your hammer at foes. Upon impact, your hammer shatters into explosive molten shards. That's the super ability we're going to go for within this build. And alongside that, we are going to be running the Rally Barricade. So we're going to be popping the barricade a lot on this build, and you're going to want to be able to shoot over the top of it. And we're going to run the thermite grenade. You're going to utilize this grenade a lot, and I find this to be one of the best grenades. Even though we have more options now, I still find this as my go-to. So now let's take a look at aspects, and one of the ones we're going to run is Sol Invictus. This gives us 2 fragment slots, and it's also solar ability final blows, hammer of Sol impacts, and defeating scorch targets creates sunspots. Your abilities regenerate faster, and your super drains more slowly while standing in a sunspot. Sunspots apply scorch and deal damage to targets inside, and then when you enter a sunspot, it applies restoration. So these sunspots are important. We are going to be utilizing these a lot. You'll probably see it in the footage in the background. We're going to be creating a lot of sunspots and utilizing running through these, and also doing extra damage when we have the sunspots down. Now, the second aspect we're running is Roaring Flames. So this also gives you 2 fragment slots, and basically final blows with solar abilities or ignitions increase the damage of your solar abilities, and it stacks 3 times. So basically, with all these ability kills that we're getting, or the damage that we're doing with solar abilities, we're going to be stacking more damage for our abilities. So if you are running around with the throwing axe or hammer or whatever you want to call it, you can just do more and more damage as you go along. So we're going to be utilizing this a lot. So it's definitely important to have Roaring Flames. Now for the fragments, we're going to be running Ember of Ashes. So you apply more scorch stacks to targets. Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. Again, utilizing that scorch. Ember of Solace. So radiant and restoration effects apply to you, have an increased duration. You can see this in the screen now. Radiant and restoration have quite a long duration due to the Ember of Solace kicking in. And then last but not least, Ember of Torches. Now, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. Again, you want to be radiant as much as you can. You want to have that restoration. You want to have everything buffing at the same time. You can see on the screen in the gameplay, they're constantly getting a lot of buffs on here just by using the throwing knife, punching, grenading, and getting multi-kills with our solar weapons. And what those buffs are going to do is give us this health regen. Look at the regen now on the build. This is from the boss hitting us as well. So here is the build. Now, for the weapons, it doesn't really matter what you use. However, you are probably going to want to put something on like the Tommy's matchbook, because you'll get an increase in damage. It does damage you. However, with the healing and the sunspots on the ground, you're probably not going to take that much damage. I would be very wary with it now. The build that we brought out before, you pretty much couldn't die shooting it. But this time, if you do overshoot, you will die. So just be careful. Use it for more of the damage increase rather than just letting it damage you and carrying on. So whatever other 2 weapons you want to go with, bear in mind, if you're not running Tommy's matchbook and you want to run a different exotic, Xeno is pretty good. Also, Terabat is a pretty good weapon. You could run anything really solar, any exotic that's solar, because we're going to future-proof this build as well. Now, helmet-wise, of course, there's no other helmet. There's no other piece of exotic armor I'd want to put on this Titan. Loreley Splendor Helm. Now, the reason for this is when you are critically wounded with full class ability energy, or when you cast a barricade, you create a sunspot at your location that has improved restoration effects. So as soon as you get hit, if you've got full ability energy, it will drop a sunspot where you are. Or if you cast a barricade, which we will be doing a lot of, you're going to have a sunspot at your feet, and that's going to improve your restoration effect. So it's definitely worth having. Now, the build, you're going to want to spec resilience and discipline. At least try and get 100 each in those 2 items. Resilience now is literally OP, but we'll show you that in just a second. For the mods, I'm running Ashes to Assets, so gain super energy on grenade kills. We are throwing down our grenade quite a bit, so we're going to get some super energy there. If you wanted to, you could put a minor resilience mod and have 2 Ashes to Assets. The other one I'm running is Harmonic Siphon. So rapid weapon final blows with damage matching your subclass creates an orb of power. So we're using the solar weapon, solar subclass, so we'll create a lot of orbs of power. And then we're going to run elemental armaments. This is pretty much the same as the build before. So combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your subclass, again solar and solar, have an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. It's definitely, we need these elemental wells on the ground. Now, for the gauntlets, you're going to want to go with solar gauntlets. I've put discipline mod on, but again, it's up to you. Put the 2 barrier mods that you want. If you're not running both barrier mods, you could put something like impact induction, so causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown, so that gets your grenade back quicker, or anything pretty much in these 2, as long as you've got yourself covered when it turns into higher level content and you need the anti-barrier mods or unstoppable mods. Now on here, we're going bountiful wells. So elemental well mods that cause you to spawn elemental wells can now stack, and spawning additional wells for each additional copy of the mod you have equipped. So it means we can stack those mods to get more elemental wells, solar elemental wells being that. So basically, this is a very important part of the build. Chest piece, this one can be anything. You don't have to have it as solar, you can have it as whatever you like. We've gone resilience on it, and then we're going armor of the dying, 2 lots of that, so we're going to stack that. So it reduces incoming solar and void damage. You do have a solar resistance here if you want it, or if you really wanted, you could go ahead and put like concussive dampener or something like that on. But for me, it's about solar, void, and just avoiding that damage. This is the same as the thermoclastic striking, I think it was called in the last season. It's only a couple of days ago, but I forgot what it's called. But it's the same, except they've just changed it now from arc to void. So you're going to want elemental ordnance. So defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. So again, going for those solar wells, and then bountiful wells will obviously have a chance of putting more wells on the ground for us to pick up. For the boots, you're going to want to have solar boots on. We've gone for recovery mod because we had a spare slot, because we were 100 each on resilience and discipline. So we just went recovery. That would be my 3rd choice, to go for recovery. So if you can get 3 100 stacks, get resilience, recovery, and discipline. We're running absolution, so reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb of power. We will be generating orbs of power with those multi-kills. Then we've got recuperation, replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. So again, when we've got orbs on the ground, run over them, your health will replenish. And then we've got Well of Life. So picking up a solar elemental well, which we do a lot, grants increased regeneration for a short period of time. Now, picking up an elemental well grants energy to your ability with the lowest current energy. And then if it matches your element type or subclass type, it grants energy to all of your abilities as well on top of that. So just remember that we are going to be picking up solar elemental wells a lot. So here's increased regeneration. Now on the mark, I have gone for Arc. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. So we've gone for minor recovery mod on here. Again, pick and choose whatever you like on there. We have Outreach, so it reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. You're going to be using your class ability a lot, so you're definitely going to get that melee cooldown. But on top of that, you are going to be using the hammer, and you're going to be spamming that hammer to get those sunspots on the ground to heal yourself as well. So do you need that? I don't think it's a massive necessity. You could run on here, you could run stasis and maybe have is it utility kickstart? You could double that up, and then maybe a I don't know what else, something else kickstart on your main mod slot. I can't remember what it's called, but there is one that's pretty decent, or even time dilation or something like that. But for us, we've gone outreach and then distribution, so it reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. And then I've gone for seeking wells because I really don't want to have to be running around. I'm behind that barricade. I want those wells to come to me. So I want all the solar wells just pumping towards me so we don't have to worry about going and picking them up. So basically this makes that happen. Elemental wells you create will move across the ground towards nearby players. So it's going to come to you so you don't have to keep running around trying to pick up wells. Now, I did just want to go over the artifact while I'm here, because we will upgrade this build once we've unlocked some more of the artifact mods. Right now, we haven't unlocked that many. I mean, we're only 9 out of 25. But just some honorable mentions. Revitalizing Blast is a very good mod to have. Potentially going to add it into this build somewhere, but we will see. So basically, stunning a champion causes it to ignite and clears your shield stun. Basically, what this does, it doesn't really explain it very well. But when you stun a champion, the champion ignites and there's a big explosion, which we tested it in a master nightfall, and it did about 33,000 damage with the explosion. So it's definitely worth having on. Then, of course, Withering Heat. It does cost a lot of energy, but causing damage with a solar ability weakens champions for a short duration. That's not too bad. I don't know if I would use that, though, because it is a 6. We would use this one, Molten Overload. So if you have got some like Artificer armor or any of the new armor coming from the new dungeon coming up, solar grenades cause disruption, delaying ability regeneration, and lowering combatant damage output. This is strong against overload. So basically, it's going to stun the overloads with the grenade. And then as well as that, Flame Harvesting. This is the one I'm really looking forward to. Solar Exotic Final Blows create solar elemental wells. So we're using Tommy's matchbook, which is a solar exotic. We're getting the kills with that weapon. We're going to generate even more solar elemental wells, buffing us up all the time, keeping that heal going, keeping those sunspots coming, keeping the barricades, and keeping us alive. So I'm really looking forward to using this. It is going to cost 5 energy, but I'm definitely going to slot this in somewhere. So with all that out of the way, that is the end of today's build. Just to recap, go ahead, get yourself Resilience and Discipline. Resilience now gives you 40% damage reduction. It's definitely a must-have. If you don't know how to get those high resilience stats armor, let me know in the comments and I'll explain just a quick method for you guys, or potentially bring out a video in the near future. Or although I believe there is some videos already out there to explain these methods. Now, if you did enjoy the video, of course, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to send a thanks, be sure to hit that thanks button underneath. Or if you want to become a member of the channel, have that cool little logo next to your name and be able to use all those emojis and get those perks, click the join button. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you all in the next video.